Hello everybody, Jason here. It is, what day is it? Tuesday evening. Just thought I'd jump on, do a video. Some records came in the last few weeks from Brazil. My mother-in-law, she came back, brought some records that I've been kind of sending to her house. Actually, she forgot one, or it just kind of got lost. So there's one really big record, unfortunately, and that one got sent maybe over a year ago. So it'll probably be like another year before I get that one, but that's what you do to save $40 in shipping, I guess. Well, $40 in shipping for 5 boxes, so a couple $100. Anyways, yeah, so I got a small stack. Hopefully it's not too long of a video. I don't expect too much to come in anytime soon. Try to slow down. I say that all the time. My wife did ask me if she thinks I have a obsession, which we all know that I do, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you have an obsession too. So be it. It could be worse. My friend always tells me I could be like obsessed with drugs or whatever. So he always makes me feel good about myself. So, so I'll go ahead and jump right in. First thing we're starting off with. So we're listening to this is Chico Bararo. Buenos Aires Blues. This is not I forget that's not the original name. Yeah, this is I think this came out, this is an Argentinian Jazz record. This came out in 75, I think, and then this was the US press from 77. So the original is pretty pricey. It's on my list, but who knows. This one actually got really cheap on eBay, so I was really excited. I don't know, it's like $15 or something. So yeah, I couldn't pass that up. I had to jump on it. Definitely would like to get the original. And the reason I picked this one to listen to is I actually haven't got a good sit down to listen to it yet. So I tried to throw it on, and then my son wanted to watch TV. And then I just got some Brazilian records in. I was listening to those. I bought a collection as well, which I showed last time. I've been cleaning and listening to those. And I listened to this on YouTube, but I wasn't sure. It was like a really long video, so when it's like an hour long, just like the record can't be an hour long. So I don't know if it's the right tracks, or there's extra tracks, or extended versions. I have no idea. But yeah, so I really want to listen to this. It's really, I heard it. I believe what's on YouTube. It already sounds a little different. The one I heard on YouTube almost has like this really long intro. The first song almost sounds like it's like psych folk kind of. And then maybe like 8 minutes in, then kind of gets more jazzy, and then the rest is kind of jazz. I did kind of read that this guy did use a lot of instruments, like a lot of crazy instruments on this. I don't even know how I got to this record either. I love Jorge Lopez Ruiz. He's an Argentinian bass player, and I have 2 of his records, but I have a few more on his catalog. There's not too much Argentinian jazz that I'm seeking. I don't know how I stumbled across this. I was just kind of looking at the back of this. I think he plays with there's a couple of lineups. There's a trio, a quintet, and a sextet. So yeah, the trio is on every single. Yeah, I think he just keeps adding players as he goes along. But Horacio Chico Bararo, I think he plays sax, but it looks here he's playing all kinds of stuff. So maybe that's why he plays. There's a xylophone on here, acoustic piano, electric piano. He plays Hammond organ, Moog. There's another guy plays Rhodes, piano with ring and wah-wah. So there's a graviola, whatever that is. There's another guy who just plays percussion and special effects. So yeah, I'm really excited to actually get a sit down and listen to this right now. Sounds pretty good. So anyways, on Catalyst Records. And that was like that record actually came, and I was waiting. I bought a record from Spain, and it took like a couple months to get here. So I forgot I bought it when it arrived. I'm like, what is this? So it was a nice surprise to myself, I guess. There's a couple records. This record is a grail. This is the one record I wanted to buy all year, so I guess I can stop buying records now. This is Walter Bronco Meo Balanzo. This is the original on CBS. The vinyl's like insanely clean. It's like excellent. The front cover's pretty good. The back has some issues. Still was not cheap. It was probably up there with one of the most expensive records that I bought, but I don't know. This one's hard to find, the original. And this guy I buy records from, he's had it for a few months, and he actually talked him down. He wanted a lot, way too much. So I got it for about 60% of what he originally wanted, which is more. Even that was probably more than it was worth because of the cover and the backs. You can see it's got some issues going on in the back for sure, but it's not terrible. I mean, it's pretty bad. Maybe I'll get a better cover someday, but this is so Waltel Bronco, Male Balanço. This is like jazz funk monster, Brazilian. You can't even really tell it's Brazilian. I listened to my wife, she liked it, but I asked her, I'm like, oh, can you tell it's Brazilian? But there's like one or two tracks where it kind of has that like token, like the Brazilian like backup singer vocals kind of thing going on. So that was a little bit of a telltale, but other than that, I really couldn't tell. Yeah, this thing's just so groovy, funky. There's a couple slower tracks, but most of it's just banging. And he's got another record I really want to. Can't remember the name of it. It has a blue cover, but I've never seen the original for sale. So actually I did see one recently on Instagram, but it was the Canadian record store, and they don't ship, so I have seen one I like. But yeah, this thing's so great. Like I said, this is my grail for the year, my Brazilian grail. I mean, I say that. I'll probably seek something out. I think I'm going to stop kind of trying to buy. I don't know, I said that, but there's so many good records out there. It's so hard. But I definitely need to cut back. I've been looking locally. There's just been not a lot of time stuff. I did buy a collection, but nothing that great. It was mostly like classic rock. But yeah, super stoked to get that. I highly recommend this one. I mean, the first track it just comes out bang, swinging. Male Balanço, the title track is really awesome. I mean, the whole thing's just a beast for sure. It's one of the reasons I wanted to buy that record too, is because I had my friend came out and he helped me work on my fence. This Brazilian guy, Fabricio. So he collects records, and actually I met him because he was selling Brazilian records, and I answered an ad, and I bought a couple pretty sweet records off him. Actually almost bought his whole collection. Man, he's got some insane, like really rare Brazilian records. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I remember he told me he was kind of, I didn't really know him that well. Like I met him, and he's Brazilian, so my wife's Brazilian. We kind of hit it off. I speak a tiny bit of Portuguese. But yeah, I don't know, he was moving, and he said he was kind of like a low point, and it was like, no, I mean, he's not like, I don't know, I think because he was at this place he lived at for, I think he told me like 10 years, and he said he was a professional skateboarder, and he had a skateboard ramp like on the property. I think because he had to disassemble the whole thing. I think he was just a little bummed. So I don't know, whatever reason, he likes to sample too, or he does now, but I think he was just kind of at a low point, was just like, F it, wanted to sell all of his records. So he actually offered them to me, and we came to an agreement, and I kept bugging him, and he eventually called and apologized, said he wanted to keep them, which is fine. Now he's my friend, and so I mean, in the end, I get a friend out of it, but his records are pretty sweet. But the whole long story, so he builds skateboard ramps, so he helped me do my fence. So I paid him with a mixture of cash and records. And so one of the reasons why I bought that record is I've been wanting it, but the guy had a couple records that I knew he wanted. So I bought that so I could buy these couple others. And this is one of them. Actually, I own this one. This is Cati de France. This is the original it's on Epic. The name of the album is 20 Palabras Alrededor del Sol. I don't know, it means 20 words. I don't know what redor means, of the sun. I'm not sure, but yeah. So he wanted this record, and I had a pretty decent copy. It had a little bit of background noise, and like the sleeve had some issues. So I ended up getting an upgrade copy, and I gave him my other copy, which was a pretty decent. It was like a strong VG, maybe, I don't know. But this thing's pretty sweet. This thing's amazing. I cleaned it. It sounds really good. So yeah, Cate de France. This is like this is their first album. I think it's from '79. I don't know why when I first heard it, I thought it was kind of disco, and there's a couple, might be like a track or something that I don't know why I thought it was disco, because it's not. It is. It's like northeastern. It's like soul, MPB. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize if I'm cough or something. That's why I'm not drinking a beer too. I need to. My body needs to recover. But yeah, so it's like soul, MPB, like really groovy, but it has a little bit of that northeastern Brazilian sound, which is kind of like my, I guess it's called forró, which is like, it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain forró. It's like, it's kind of like an accordion. It's kind of like you think it like, you know, like a music from like a farm or something. I wouldn't even say it's country, because it's more like upbeat than country. But it's a very regional, Brazilian regional sound, but it's like, I want to say it's like polka, but you know, I mean, it's kind of got that, like that, I don't know, kind of a cheesy, I don't like forró that much, but when it's like mixed in a little bit, I think it could work for sure. And this album's amazing, and this was just released, this was just reissued for Noise Record Club in Brazil, which is like a huge record club in Brazil, and they put out some pretty sweet records in the beginning, but now they're just like reissuing a bunch of, which is cool, I guess, you know, like a bunch of rare records, which is awesome. But I try to find the originals, so I don't really buy a lot of their stuff. I bought a couple of their first issues, so I bought this one, and I gave it to him last week, and he was really appreciative. Another one I already owned it, so I bought for him as well. He really wanted that one. So yeah, so those were from Brazil. This was a local score. This is Moraz Bruford, and the musicians are Patrick Moraz, which I believe he's a Swedish piano player, and Bill Bruford, which is I think he was the drummer for Yes at one time. I don't know, somebody showed this, and I was actually, Fabricio was here helping with the fence, and we needed to go buy some more fencing. So I took him to my a secret spot I haven't been to, like it's an estate sale place I haven't been to in over a year because of the pandemic. Because it was on my way home from work, and I haven't been to the office since March 2020, so I just haven't gone. And I went, and I was scared if they're gonna be closed or what. And it was packed, and I talked to the owner, which I kind of knew him because I went in pretty early when they opened and looked through like all their records, so I kind of had a relationship with him, and he used to show me like pull records from the back that like he hasn't put out yet. I found a couple of sweet records there. It's usually just a bunch of stuff like this, which is, you know, it's a nice cool find, but you know, nothing like crazy. But yeah, he said that someone did he said they were hurting for a little bit. They never closed, you know, they were supposed to close. They never did. They were hurting for a little bit, and somebody did a TikTok video at their store, and he said the place just exploded. So, man, there was so many people there. So it's not really my secret honey hole anymore. There was a few people looking at records. There were so many. I probably looked through a few hundred. I mean, we were kind of tight for time. We probably spent 80 an hour there, probably less. So yeah, but this is the only one. Actually, I found another one. I cleaned it. I gotta listen to it. I don't think it's anything special, but this one's pretty cool. This is music for piano and drums. I don't know who showed it. I think someone showed it on a vinyl tag, jazz vinyl tag. I have no idea. But it's just piano and drums, and I would say it's like free jazz, but it's not like. It's just like, I guess it's improv. It's not free. It's not like out there. It's kind of like almost like a jam session with just a dude on the piano and the drummer. It's nothing like crazy. I definitely need to sit down with it again. I listened to it once. I didn't really get to sit down and listen to that. But it was like if I had a friend who was really good at piano and a drummer who was really good at a friend, and they were just like kind of playing while I was just chilling at their house. It's kind of what it sounds like. So it's cool. It was cool. It was $1, so yeah, I'll definitely. It was on. I think it's from 1983. It's on Editions something. I can't. Editions EG maybe. That's the record label. So the cover's pretty. It's got some issues, water damage maybe, but the vinyl's pretty clean. So looking forward to listening to that a little bit more. This is so my mother-in-law came back from Brazil, like I mentioned. She brought some stuff for me. Did I already show these? I'm confused. Maybe I did already show these. I don't remember anymore. If I did, I apologize. I'm showing him again, I guess. I don't know. I'm tired. This is Clodo Clamera Clesio Salpiaio. I'm trying to think. I have already shown these. Well, whatever. I'll go through it fast. This is like this is on RCA. These guys are three brothers from northeastern Brazil. This one is more. It's kind of like the Cazzi da França. It's but it's more like forró. Like it's more of that kind of regional sound, less of everything else. But there's a couple pretty banging tracks on here. I did listen to this tonight, and my wife was like, "Oh, we listen to forró tonight, huh?" So she kind of was teasing me. But there's a couple. The first track on both sides is pretty grooving. There's a track on side B too that's like it's really awesome. I think these guys could have made a really sweet record. I'm just like listening to it tonight, but a lot of this, there's not a lot of transitions in the song. It's just kind of like there's like a verse and like a hook, a verse, a hook, like a guitar, like an instrumental hook. So there's not a lot of change, but like a lot of the songs are pretty sweet. If they kind of like mixed it more, intertwined some of the stuff they were doing, they could have made some more complex songs, I think, because there's some really good moments on this record. And this is kind of like an under the radar Brazilian record. So yeah, I highly recommend this. Like I said, it does have some songs that are kind of more straight on that like forró, but it's still like listenable. It's not like crazy. It's kind of like MPB, MPB's música popular brasileira, which is like pop music, I guess. But it's kind of folky. Got some good grooves. There's that one song on the first track on side A. It's got a little fuzz guitar, so that's cool. Yeah, I like this one. Chico Buarque, Construção. Yeah. So I'm still thinking if I showed these already or not. Because I could have swore I got some other records, some new records, and I know I showed those. So I don't know, whatever. So this is the original Phillips. And this has the insert. This thing is like really super clean. I think I put the insert here because I don't know, I couldn't get the fit inside the sleeve, so because it was kind of folded. So I bought this. I actually owned this record before, but I owned a really nice copy of it as well. And then I found this one. A seller was selling it for like pretty cheap in Brazil, like near mint, and it is near mint. So I'm really excited I got it, and it did live up to the Brazilian grade, which Brazilians often overgrade. But yeah, so I sent my copy to another VC member, knowing that this was, I already bought this and I just hadn't received it yet, so I kind of spread the love before I got this, and I'm so happy. I listened to this tonight as well. Was this tonight or yesterday? I think I listened to this tonight as well. Yeah, this thing's like classic MPB. This record's like really dark. I think my friend told me he's singing about like one of my buddies that likes Brazilian music. You told me that, because I don't know, I don't pay attention to the lyrics that much. I probably should more, but sorry about the glare. He told me that there's some lyrics on here that he's talking about his mouth or his friend's mouth on like the exhaust pipe of a car. I don't know. It's a very dark record, and the music is a little bit darker. It's not like super cheerful, but it's very good. Like very well done, very well written. There's a couple like really classic songs. I mean, you listen to it and the whole thing sounds classic. It's just like that good. And I've listened to this a few times, maybe less than 10 for sure, but maybe like between 5 and 10. I really highly recommend it. If you don't know that record, it's an amazing record. This one, this is a random. This is Crumb, Ice Melt. I'm not gonna talk about this one too much. This is a new release. I don't know. I like Crumb. They're like I don't know where they're from, but they're like an indie band. And I bought it. I don't know. I heard one track on the radio So they only released one track. I pre-ordered it. It kind of sounded like Tame Impala, and these like their first. They have like an EP I bought from Turntable Kitchen, which does like they do like 7 inches and they'll send like ingredients. So they put out find some good bands, and then the Crumb did a double EP, which is pretty good. But it kind of their first full length, it was kind of like meh, like I don't know, it just didn't really. The first time kind of reminded me of Get Up Kids. It was like very kind of like indie but like intricate. Like the songs were like really well written, like a lot of like different tempo changes. I don't know, I really liked it. And then the first LP was a little bit more like had like kind of like a sound effect, kind of like Tame Impala does, you know, where it just has like a it's very full, like very produced. And I saw them live too, right around when they released the LP, and I don't know, it was kind of a boring show. Like it's kind of, you know, those like indie shows where you're just like everyone's just kind of like this. Which I've been to shows like that, like Beach House, and like it's like that, but the music's amazing. But I don't know, for some it misses that like punch. I don't know what it is. So the song they played on the I'm talking about too much. The song they played on the radio on this is I don't even think I've listened to the whole thing fully from start to finish, so I probably need to re-listen to it. But I don't know. I just don't see it being as something that I'll grab very often, if at all, really. So probably shouldn't have bought it, but the song that they played on the radio trophy is pretty good. A lot of the tracks on here are like less than 2 minutes, so I don't know. If you listen to Crumb, I recommend their double EP. That's really good. So here's another record my mother-in-law brought for me. This is Antonio Carlos y Jacofi, Cada Segunda. This is their second LP. Their first one's amazing, like classic Brazilian. It's like one of the records that like you know, you start a record collection, a Brazilian record collection, like classic stuff. It's like in one of the first 10 records you should buy. There's just so many good songs on it, and it's not like insanely expensive. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's under $100 for sure. You know, you probably get away with a good copy for like, if you're really looking, $50. But this thing's a little bit cheaper, and it's not as good, but there's a couple of really sweet tracks on here. Simbarare. I don't know how you say it. But yeah, I actually have that in my jukebox with another track from their first album. But yeah, this is like, I mean, it's kind of like groovy MPV, I guess I would say. Their first one has like some fuzz guitar and stuff on it, and it's just, I don't know, it's so catchy. This one's still good, but yeah, it's not as good as the first one for sure. But it's definitely a good listen. I think they're a band that I think just progressively got worse. Or for me at least. I mean, just I didn't like their releases as they. All right, so I don't have that many left. I am rambling on a little bit. This is longer than I anticipated. This is a classic album, for sure. Georgia Bane, another one my mother-in-law brought for me. Georgia Bane, a Tabla de Esmeralda. So this is the original on Phillips. This is a pretty clean copy. I know this album's like pretty highly regarded. I guess you call them BC. I see a lot of posts on Instagram. It's probably not it's definitely not my favorite Georgia Bane. For me, this is getting close to collecting, to completing my collection of Georgia Bane like originals. I don't have all his originals, but I have most of the stuff from like late 60s to mid 70s. I have almost everything, except like besides the live albums. I don't have any live albums, but so this is, I don't know when this came out. This must have been early 70s. This might have been like 70. But yeah, it's good. I mean, I love Georgia Bane. But yeah, for me, there's a lot more records that I prefer over this one. But still solid. I would listen to this. It's still like a record I will listen to and be like, yes. And then my wife and my mother-in-law love Georgia Bane. So only one I'm missing now is the first album. I have a repress, but not an original. And then like the two after the first, I don't know. They're more bossa nova. I have to probably re-listen to them, but then they never really struck me. And then I have Big Band, which is, I think that's where he started to get a little bit more experimental. And then he's got another one in between, which I don't know that well. Actually, I should probably check that one out. But yeah, there's a couple other odds I might pick up just because they're good to have. And some people like them, but yeah. But this is really good. I mean, there's Brother. I remember, probably one of the songs I remember when I first discovered Georgia Bane was Brother, which is on here. And I remember hearing it at my wife's friend's house when she's Brazilian, but she was living in LA, and she was playing this album. We went to visit her. I think the first time I visited her, I don't think it was the first time I met her, but I remember that song came on, Brother, and I was like, damn, this is really good. And the cover's amazing. I mean, jeez. Yeah. So I mean, if you don't know Georgia Bane, I'm sure you probably know Georgia Bane, but he's insane. Like he's my favorite Brazilian musician. Well, I'd say musician, like songwriter, artist. I have a big painting in my house. So yeah, he's one of the people that if I can, I'm gonna try to get his entire catalog. But most of the stuff, anything that I think is decent, I'm gonna try to find the original, because he's just so good. And his records are insanely expensive. They are. I mean, I say that because Brazilian records can get really pricey. Like some of the ones I want now are like, I don't know how. I don't see myself ever paying, $1,000 for a record. I don't know. There is maybe one record I'd pay that much for, but it's not a Brazilian record. And yeah, a lot of records are just crazy. But his stuff, you can range anywhere from like 50 to like the low hundreds maybe for like the nice original presses. A couple of them are like pretty cheap. He's got a couple really solid ones that you can get for like way cheaper than that even. He's got a couple that maybe in the 20 if you really do well, $20 range. But yeah, highly recommend Georgia Bane. Yeah, all his stuff's good. I mean, anything from his first album to, I would say, Africa Brazil, which is like 76. Can't go wrong. This is Natty Roots. This is a Brazilian reggae band. I think this is from like 98 maybe. I can't remember. Like late 90s, early 2000s. This is their first album. And actually it says Natty. It does say Natty Roots. I think they had to change their name to Nativus. Maybe it was vice versa. I can't remember. They got sued by somebody, so they had to change their name from Natiroots to Nativus, or Nativus to Natty Roots. But everyone just calls them Natty Roots anyway. So, but yeah, this was just pressed. They don't have any. This is their. They never had any of their albums pressed on vinyl. So this is the first one pressed on vinyl. They're the first one. I mean, the first 4 albums are all solid. It's just like it's kind of like it is more of like that newer sounding reggae, like clean reggae. Let's say kind of poppy-ish a little bit. But my wife really, really likes these guys, and she saw them. She said she's seen them like 10 times in Brazil, and this is like one of the first Brazilian bands that she introduced me to when I met her in Tahoe. So it's kind of like sentimental a little bit. So yeah, it's a good listen. If you like reggae, I mean, I definitely recommend checking this out. Like newer Brazilian reggae. And this is my last record actually. This is Skymark. Segundas Impressões. So Skymark is an alias of I think he's Italian. Italian piano player. I think his name's like Mark. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Mark Friedi. But I think I was reading. I think he lives in Spain. But he has. His albums are. This one's called Segundas Impressões, and this is Sugarloaf in the background. So that's Rio de Janeiro. And he has, I think maybe, I don't know if it's his first album, but one of his earlier albums, like 10 years ago, was called, I think it was called Primeras, which is first Primeras Impressions. So this is Segundas' second impressions. So I think I was reading that he went to Brazil, so it just kind of he's just remembering the times he spent in Brazil. So he's not Brazilian, but the music kind of sounds like Azimuth. If you're familiar with Azimuth, it's like kind of got more of that like boogie, like 80s kind of thing going on. But here, this has some more like traditional jazz too, but it kind of goes in and out between like that and picks up a little bit. So yeah, this was independently pressed. This is actually I think it's sold out, and but there was a note on Discogs to like contact the label or something. So I just emailed the label, and that guy Mark Friedel, he just replied and said, "Hey, I have a few copies left from like canceled orders or something because it was released." So I just got it, and then it must take a couple months. So I bought it like early in the year. And I think it was released like last summer or something. So I found out about it like really late. So it was already sold out, but yeah. So I emailed him, and he said, "Yeah, sure, it costs this much." And I sent him the money, and he sent me the record. So. Yes, it's really good. I need to sit down again with this. This is the one I was waiting for from Spain. It took at least a couple months. I don't know why shipping from Brazil is like way quicker than Spain. But yeah, there's another record from Brazil that was recommended to me. It's a Brazilian artist, but it was pressed in the UK. Actually, I probably need to revisit that one because it was good, and I would have bought it, but I just kept everything I'm buying. I feel like is not from the US, so. If it was media mail, I would buy it because it's so cheap. But shipping from like Europe it's expensive. It's like as much as the record. It's like $25 or whatever. So that's been killing me. And I bought a lot of records last year from Europe, so I spent a lot on shipping. Brazil too, but at least in Brazil I double up. Like 2 or 3 records from one seller. From this is like that record was like a new press. I think it was like far out recordings or something. I don't know. You buy one record and then it's like such a waste to spend $50 because you gotta add shipping. So it's kind of a hassle. But anyways, that is it. Yeah, thanks for. I do have some records coming that I pre-ordered. Who knows when they'll show up? But yeah, I really enjoyed this. What are we listening to here? This is Chivo Barado, Buenos Aires Blues. I should have looked. I don't know what the original is called. I should have looked, but I would say this is Cheap Heat if you can find it. I liked it. I mean, you heard it too. We were listening together, so thanks for listening with me. Cheers.